Hey guys, this is Eric from Miller Music, and today we're talking about 10 recording tips for beginners. And I'm going to break this down by 5 tips for pre-production, which is everything before you start recording, and 5 tips for production, which is everything while you're recording. And this is really to help set you up for success, help the song to really come out at its best, okay? This is something that I think about myself when I go into the studio, as well as I teach to all my students. So be sure to like this video and also subscribe to our channel. All right, let's jump in. Tip number 1 is to make sure the song you choose is good. And this sounds pretty obvious, but this is going to be something that you're going to be excited to share, a song that you're excited to put out to the world. So just make sure that it's something that you really like and you're really proud of. Okay, you're also going to be listening to this song many times over as you begin to layer tracks on. So, you're going to be hearing it a lot. So just make sure that you really like this song and you want to share this with people. Tip number 2 is to write your song out. So write out all your lyrics, maybe on a Google Docs sheet with the chords above them and the arrangement of the song. So verse, chorus, bridge, whatever order it goes in. This will be really helpful when you're going to record your song. You can use this as a reference. Also, whoever plays on your song, if you're practicing it with them or if they're laying the tracks down, they can look at that as this at the same time, also as a reference. So that's just keep everyone on the same page to know what's going on with the song. Tip number 3 is to find really good people to play on your song. If you're a solo artist and maybe you want to bring in a drummer on your song to sequence all the drum tracks, but now you want to bring in a real drummer to record the parts. Or if you're more of a composer and your skill is in writing the music but not necessarily singing it, finding a really good singer to sing your song is going to be really, really great. And if you bring in some really good people to play on your song, it's really going to help to elevate the song, and they're going to bring their gifts in, and it's going to make the song that much better. Tip number 4 is to make sure the song is in the right key for the vocalist. Okay, so if your song has lyrics in it, has singing in it, you're going to really want to make sure that it's in the right key for that singer, that it's really optimal for them to sing in, whether it's in the key of C major or G major or A flat major, and they'll be able to tell you what key suits their voice best. Tip number 5 is to find the right tempo for the song. This kind of fits into the right key for the song, but really make sure that it's the right tempo. You don't want to lay all the guitar parts down and then find out once you get onto the vocal track that, oh, it's really dragging, it's too slow. Now we need to redo everything. Okay, so make sure that you find the right tempo, the BPM, if it's 96 beats per minute, if it's 128, that is locked in and decided ahead of time before you start recording. All right, let's jump into the production phase. Tip number 6 is to set your recording levels. And what this means is to set the input for your microphone going into your interface. And you can adjust that by the little knobs right in front of your interface to make sure that it doesn't clip. Okay, so this is really important to not clip. If it clips, it's going to sound really bad and distorted, and you can't fix that later on in post-production. Okay, so if you're looking at a track like this, for example, you can see that it's not clipping. Okay, so when a track clips, it goes beyond this top line here, and you'll see like a big flat waveform, and that's when you know it has clipped. In this track here, this is a snare drum. I came dangerously close to clipping, but I did not. Luckily, I recorded the drummer, and he got really loud halfway through the song, and we got pretty close, but fortunately we didn't clip. Okay, so really important not to clip, just to make sure that you're setting your levels pretty conservatively low so that they don't clip. You can always, turn up the volume to make up for that gain, but you can't turn it back down once it clips. Tip number 6 is track organization. So this just means that, you're organizing your tracks within your DAW so that you can see everything, it's looking clean. In this, you can see that I've organized it by color. It's a little bit nerdy, but that's okay. It helps me to see okay, this is the green, is going to be the keys, the bass is purple, red is drums, this is vocal, that's like a pink color, and then guitars are down here, all right? And I also have the instruments grouped together, within there, all the drums are within the same region, so it's just really easy to visually see, okay? And then, when I go into the mixing window, it carries over here. So all of these are guitars, all of these are drums, So it's arranged that way. Also, make sure not to, only put one instrument per track. Okay, so you don't want to put like a guitar part on this track and then halfway through the song you add keyboard onto the same track. You really want to make sure every instrument has its own place, okay, has its own track. So when you go to mix, it's going to be that much easier to help set everything up. Tip number 8 is to record at 44 kilohertz 24-bit resolution. Okay, so this is referring to the sample rate and how many samples you have when you're recording. You can do it for 41 kilohertz, which is fine, but I like to save that for the last final step when I bounce down, particularly if you're bouncing it down to a CD. A CD burns at 16-bit 44.1 kilohertz, but I like to record it at a higher bit rate to get more samples in, a higher sound quality, and then bounce it down the very, very last step. Tip number 9 is to set your master output level. What I like to do for this is to actually put a limiter. So this is my mains, okay, so the main output. I'll put a limiter on this. This is particularly, if I'm not going to be mastering it, you would take the limiter off. But for just getting your mixes down, put a limiter on it. And what that will do is to make sure that the song doesn't go above that clipping stage. So you can set your ceiling to -1 decibels, and that it will never go beyond that. It won't pass beyond -1 decibels. So you won't clip, okay? And if your song is too quiet, you can adjust the gain. You can put some gain on the master output, and that will bring everything up to that master volume, okay, that you want. The last step is to start with the drums first. Now, people might have some different opinions on this. If you do, please feel free to leave a comment, but I like to start with the drums first and then build the track around that. Obviously, this depends, your song might not have drums, so you have to start with piano, but if it's a typical rock pop song, R&B song, you can start with the drums, then layer your guitars, your basses, and everything else on top of that. All right, guys, I hope you found this really helpful. Please, if you have a question about recording, I'd love to hear it. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know if there's an area you're struggling with or you have questions about, or if you have recording tips that you find to be really helpful when you're recording your song, all right? Please, if you would subscribe to our channel, we'd really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.